messing with music. So in my attempt to put together somewhat of a studio where my friends and I can make music, I no longer am a one microphone guy. So I had to come up with a way that we could have both microphones, and I was working all exclusively through this Spark Live amp. And so first thing I did is I bought this splitter cable so I could have the two microphones into one input into the Spark Live amp. That seemed like a good idea. Then Thomas and I started working with that. I have a booming voice. He has a beautiful higher level voice, and I was overrunning him. So there's no way to control that when you have just a splitter cable. So I looked around and I came across mixer boxes where you could put the two microphones in, one microphone out, and control the volume. And looking around, you know, a company that I'd worked with before, Sweetwater, had a good write-up on this Radial mix to that 2-to-1 mixer. And you know, I didn't even know really what I was getting. All I was looking for was the ability to control the volume, so that I could be turned down a little bit and he could be turned up a little bit, and it would balance out. That was the idea. So I made the purchase, and before it ever even arrived, I got a call from Sweetwater, and a fellow named Paul, who was assigned to me as my support engineer, actually had a 20-minute conversation with me about what did I have, what was I using this for. You know, I've since come to find that this is an incredibly good device, and I will make use of it as I build up this whole idea of having a home studio, because you could mix together two different sounds. You can control a 180-degree switch on it. You know, obviously, you can turn them on and off individually and control the volume. If you wanted to be a perfect match, you just want it to be a mono out of a stereo in, there's a suppressed switch you can push here for level control bypass. So you don't have to worry about getting it exactly balanced. It'll balance it for you. On the back side of this, of course, the two inputs, then they have something called lift, which if you get a buzz, you know, have you ever had that where you hook up your microphones and and you're not sure, you get some kind of a buzz. Apparently it's a ground loop problem, and if you hit the lift button, it will help it. It will reduce or eliminate the buzz. So very well thought out. It has the two inputs for XLR mics, but it also has 2 1/4-inch. You can only use one of them at a time. You can't have a 1/4-inch and an XLR in the same. They don't recommend that. I'm sure you could, but I'm not sure what the results would be. So good switch. Point of the matter about Sweetwater is, Paul gets me on the phone. He says, well, describe to me what you're using. And you know, as any of you have followed me, I use Ableton, and I'm up to Ableton Live 12 now. I have a Focusrite, Scarlett Focusrite, 18i/6, and he kind of pauses and he says, so you're trying to balance your microphones. Have you thought about using the Focusrite and putting the 2 microphones in? Now, here's the thing. I've always plugged a guitar into one of these and one microphone. I never even gave the thought that, all right, maybe Mike isn't so sharp, but I never really thought about the fact that it could handle 2 microphones, because of course it can handle 2 microphones and a whole lot of other things on the backside, because it can handle up to 8 inputs into this thing. So, all right, he tells me about that. I go in, I take a look at Ableton. Even before this showed up, I had set up a completely different setup here. I no longer am using the Positive Grid special effects. Everything is going through the Scarlett. I have Bias FX2, and that's also from Positive Grid, and I run that on my Ableton app, and I'm able to control the guitars, give the guitars different sounds and richness and pedals, and I do that all through here, and I have complete control over it on an individual basis. So I have an individual control for each of these microphones. I can add a little bit of reverb to this one or this one together. It's so much better. So here we have the Focusrite set up with the 2 microphones input, 2 guitar inputs, running through the Ableton Live app. And so I have control. You can see that I've set the mic 1, which is me, a little lower than mic 2 so that Thomas can come up on top. And I can also control it all from here. When I want to go to guitars, for instance, if I go to my Martin guitar, pull up my Bias FX2, I have control over what kind of amp and pedal setup I have on each guitar. And it all plays out through my speaker, which in this case doesn't really need to be a Positive Grid Live, Spark Live speaker. It could just be any amp at all, because I'm not using any of the Positive Grid features on the amp itself. I'm simply using everything through the Ableton Live app. So perhaps I'm starting to use the Ableton Live app the way it's supposed to be used, which let's see how that goes. And I was just blindly going after fixing my problem of putting two microphones together. But Paul at Sweetwater helped me to see a better way. And you know what? I compared the prices. They were the same prices as Amazon for this equipment. So, sorry, Amazon. All my musical instrument buying and equipment buying is going to first take a look at Sweetwater every time. So that's my unpaid promotion of what I got, because I got great service and I appreciate it. And I think we should all support companies that give us great service. So if you're looking to do the switch, if all you want to do is combine two, you can do it with a splitter cable. If you want to balance it better, they gave it a good example. If you're capturing drums and you've got two microphones set up on the drums, this is a really great way to balance those things out and make them come together as what you want. So all that said, that's me, Mike, messing with music, and let's keep messing on it together. Bye-bye.